Well, British Chancellor Philip Hammond introduced a UK digital service tax applicable to established tech giants. That is expected to start in 2020. That's hurting these stocks. He says it is not fair that digital businesses are making huge amounts of revenue locally without paying taxes on it. This just happened in the United States. The UK joins the US and quite frankly, other countries across the European Union, Latin America, Asia, to hike digital taxes. Separately, Facebook, Google, many other tech companies have come under fire recently for selling user data, or of course not doing enough to protect consumers' privacy, or in the news, weeding out the hate speech. Now a trade group representing dozens of tech firms, the biggest of the big, is proposing a framework to deal with that and slapping back the idea of taxation. Fox Business exclusive with the CEO and president of ITI, Dean Garfield. You really do speak for the biggest of the big, Dean. Tell us what the framework is going to say.
Well, essentially what it says is that trust is the central pillar for a dynamic innovation ecosystem.
They don't have a lot of trust right now, and you know that.
Exactly, and so it's something that we want to see change, and the way to do it is by giving consumers greater control over their data, making sure they have clarity on how that data is going to be used, and making sure there are clear commitments on how companies' responsibility in that space.
Well, the European Union just did this with a brand new regulation that is so tough and requires any of these companies to ensure and to make sure that each customer says, okay, you can use my data, you can sell my data, you can even touch my data for any kind of metrics. Why don't we just adopt that? I know it's very expensive. In fact, a lot of websites just had to pull out of Europe because it was too expensive.
Well, GDPR, there are elements of it that are workable and other elements that are not. And so that's the reason not to do that here. We think that there is a way to do it in the United States that are consistent with our innovation ecosystem, that doesn't push small businesses out of business and actually gets the privacy protection that consumers want.
I believe the UK issue is for the biggest companies, but not sure. We don't want to certainly stifle innovation. I get that, but something's got to give at this point.
Yeah, the digital services tax is just reflective as well, like the issue of privacy, of new rules for a new era. The problem with what the UK is doing on this tax proposal is that it's trying to segment and identify certain businesses. But the reality is the entire economy is increasingly digital.
Okay, so I've got the framework in my hands that you have put out. This is brand new, folks. This is the ITI framework. Tell me what the number one piece of this framework includes that would eliminate some of these problems and some of this sort of real breach of trust.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is what you said, which is building trust. So consumers will be able to have control over their data. They'll be able to see what data an organization has.
Have you talked to Tim Cook? Have you talked to any of the other big guys in the Valley about this?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you saw Tim Cook's speech in the EU last week. It was completely consistent with that. And I think more broadly, you see all of our companies embracing this idea.
Facebook too? Mark Zuckerberg?
Absolutely. They're embracing the idea that in order to continue to innovate around the world, we have to take the steps that are necessary to rebuild trust.
A lot of these guys are very competitive with each other. Are they ready to band together?
I think absolutely. This issue is so important. It requires collective action, and so we're working collectively. The key here is to make sure that these ideas get translated into legislation. It's happened in Europe, and we're working hard to make sure it happens here as well.
I don't know if we can punch up an Apple stock, and I bring this up because right now we have a brand new low on the Dow Jones Industrials, Apple being a Dow stock. Apple is down about $7.53 or 3.5%. It, Boeing, and IBM are the biggest drags on the Dow. New low right now, folks. We're printing it at this very moment. 505 points to the downside on the Dow Jones Industrials. That equals a close to 90, well, let's call it 850 point swing. We had been up 350 plus points for the Dow Jones Industrials. Once again, Charlie, biggest intraday swing since, guess which month? February. February was the last very volatile month that we really had to deal with. And what do we have now? October so far is gearing up to be the most volatile month in 100 years, I believe, in 100 years. So can you talk to me broader, in a broader term, about technology, which really led us to the momentum that we saw over the past year and a half, and that would be the FANG stocks. They appear to be taking a little bit of a hit here.
Yeah, you made the point earlier that we had pretty positive GDP numbers on Friday. But one of the things that came out of those GDP numbers was that the tariffs, the battle between the United States and China around trade, is a drag on the economy. We're quickly running out of time for President Trump to have the impact on China that he wants and that we all want to see. And so we're hopeful that the G20 meeting will be an opportunity to turn that around.
Are you going?
Not planning to right
Not
now,
yet.
but that may change.
Okay. You should go, and I'll see you there.